Oh my goodness. Hello?
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good evening, everybody.
Woo! We're doing it live. Let's go. We're
do we got
not
some
messing
echo?
around today. Do we have an echo? I hope we don't have echo. I swear to you, I'm about to freak out right now.
Echo.
Where's the echo?
Echo.
Joe Echo?
Joe Echo.
Joe Echo. Let me tell you something. Joe's working some new hardware today. Chat. Audio audience. If I mute this. Do you still hear me? Yeah, you do. No more echo in the business. Because I got some new hardware, so we're playing around. You know what I'm saying? What's up, dog? What's up, dog? What's up, dog? We're excited.
There we go. There we go. No, Ice Pilot. I did not get in a fight with a lawnmower and lose. I am not going to shave the rest of the year. That's the whole thing. Everybody's going to see my beard grow in real time.
I'm pretty sure you won the fight. All right?
I did.
Just tell him. Tell him you won.
You should have seen the other guy.
The other guy is a lawnmower. And, what's up? Man, we're going to play video games for like 3 hours today. Okay, chat? Because we're playing a whole bunch of the games that you created inside the Sandbox Game Maker. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a GMAE Show. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time it is, you know. We were going to do it right after Panda's show. Then Panda was like, I'm going to raid myself. So I was like, I'm going to be nice. And then we got busy with stuff. And I was like, all right, don't even worry about it. We're coming back 8 o'clock. It's 8 our local time on January 12th, 2023. Conrad's popping bottles out here. And by that, I mean cherry Pepsi. All right. So that he can get ready for a long session. All right. Oh, Ice Pop, there was intro music, my guy. We had the intro music going. This is different. It's not the same. I just messing around at this point. Doing whatever we want to do. It's 1:20 a.m. in Brazil. Joining us, Uo Lace. What's up? It is January 13th, 2023 for you. As it may be for the Asia Pacific region. It may also be for you in India, in Africa, in Europe, in South America, some, not quite, almost some of North America. And, you know, we're hanging out. Is it 2020? Yasinowski says I'm still in 2022. I was freaking out.
Right there.
So I was like, I literally looked at the calendar. I was like, am I an idiot?
And Lin Yuka, the Sandbox was originally a mobile game. And Joseph, can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yes. So first thing to know is that the Sandbox is in its third major iteration. This iteration is a blockchain game today, which means that all the transactions that happen inside the Sandbox game that involve moving assets and ownership of assets from one person to another are recorded. So you always know where they are, where they're going. If you had sword number 2 that was created by Rad Condad over here, then you would know if you sold it and you wanted to get it back 5 years from now, you could get back number 2. You know, if you wanted that exact sword.
Right.
You just have to follow the chain of transactions and who got it, where did it go, and what do you want to do. Now, chat, you can also expect to see Sandbox game for mobile. I'm getting caught out by Ice Pilot's comment live as I'm looking at the camera. Like right here is the camera, right there is the comments. You know what I mean? So sometimes they flick by and I'm like, what's going on? Sandbox game will come back to mobile. What we need before that is a lot of different optimizations, and that's the biggest part of what 2023 will be. We'll roll out some new features in the early portion, and then the later half should be significant optimization to the platform. We've already done some optimizations like level of detail based on the proximity you are to a thing, but we're still rolling out new features like inlaid video feed, which will be coming to the 0.8 update, and sound design. All right, so you're going to have some interesting new options to that effect. Now, similar to and in theme with that, today, what we are going to play on the GMAE Show, where we play your games to help get them ready for game jams and or later on the Metaverse. We got some WMG Game Jam to play, and Music Life was where we left off on the last show, so we're going to go back and play that, get caught up relatively quickly to where we were before, and as we play, we're going to give feedback on the experience. And sometimes these are little things like grammatical issues, because almost all of you are not English first speakers. Many of you are, because you watch the show, and we are English first speakers, so it's probably easier to see that. But if you are not, that is also very normal. Also, as an English first speaker, I mess stuff up all the time. I'm sure Conrad does as well. And when that
you know
happens,
how much I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. You know, I'm kind of a grammar nerd, so it's very helpful, hopefully, to those people who are watching, when I can just say, maybe rewrite it this way because it makes more sense. And these aren't negative things. Everything that we try to do here on this show is not to our benefit, but to yours, because we want to help you have a really high quality experience, so that if you publish it in the Metaverse and you want to have people have gated access to your experiences, or maybe you want to sell your services as a game designer because there's 166,464 lands, and whether you own one or not, the skills that you have in this Game Maker software can earn you a considerable amount of money through the game jams, through creating for partnered folks, or people like Pranksy, who just have a massive amount of land that there's no way they as an individual would be able to fill out the land. You, with the skills that you have in the Game Maker, could reach out to partners such as that, get some builds going, help them monetize their land, and in which case, of course, that comes back to you, at least in part. So today, Game Jam, WMG, Music Life, created by R Wheel, will be the first game that we play, and we've got some other games in the queue, but if you'd like to add your game to the queue, all you have to do is send us a message here in the chat on twitch.tv or youtube.com/thesandboxgame. Alternatively, you could tag us on Twitter, mine at TheVisionX or his RadConDad, and we will add those to the list later. We've got a few games already on the list, so you may not come up today, but you will come up in the near future. So let's get started.
Oh, but Joe, today is going to be a long one.
Yeah.
So if
We're
you
gonna run
guys
it.
if you folks have games, let us know, because we want to try them out. We want to help you try and make them just a little bit to the next level. You know, just make them
A little bit.
Just make them a little bit. Give our little feedback.
Just a little bit.
All right. We had a good time with this character, Joe, and the sprint animation was very cool.
Yes, the previous playthrough, sprint animation, right? When we talk about gameplay, the art design matters. There was something very insignificant the first time we ran it, and by that I mean a person doesn't usually hold a guitar like this. If anything, if you flipped it over your shoulder, the body of the guitar would be in the middle back instead of sort of holstered in this red thing on the middle of the back, because you wouldn't want to bend the neck. Something really small. But that's like the only thing I noticed about this character where I was like, I might change or improve that. But the sprint, this is really fun. Obviously, you're not going to ride on your guitar, so that's sort of its own thing that flies in the face of what I just said, but nonetheless. So you've got this great animation going on. And we're working with Brendy here. We mentioned early on that the first little answer seemed a little bit off, but we're not going to highlight those too much as we get caught up to where we were on the last show.
Right.
So
And Joe, after I, put some more thought into it, I've played shows in the past, and when you have a guitar, like when you have it on the strap, right?
Yep.
If you, like, let's say this person's left-handed, I'm right-handed, so the guitar, forward facing, and then sometimes you just kind of take the strap and then just pass it down, so the body does end up facing up.
For sure.
So it could be like that if you were just like in the middle of playing it and then going. But if you were like
difference between
around
what you're talking about, because I'm totally familiar, right? That like you sling it over your shoulder, is that typically, if I can't with the mouse because it won't show the mouse. Maybe it will if I push O. You see the mouse here, so the sort of opening on the guitar will typically be right in the middle when you do that, because the strap is on the bottom, on the fattest part of the guitar, right?
Right.
And it comes over your shoulder to right here, and then pokes off a little bit. So the fattest part of the guitar is here, and it's just so insignificant. And then like the guitar would come down to like here, and then the neck starts. The neck sort of starts where your bum is, instead of way up here on the shoulder where, make the wrong move and you might break off the neck from the rest of the guitar. Super insignificant, but totally agree. It's possible. And obviously that's kind of the style that they're going for. But, so quick highlight again from the previous show. It says pay for all your purchases. Pay for all your purchases. So I picked up everything, but there wasn't really an indicator of where to pay for my purchases.
Can
and
you
quite
leave
frankly,
without paying?
I think you can. Yes, you can leave without paying. That doesn't mean you can do the next piece of the puzzle, but we can check that just for quality assurance purposes.
God, I love that kickflip.
Kick, flip, kick, flip. Brendy, you're supposed to take the loot into your room, and you can't take the loot into your room until you purchase it.
This is where a character, or rather a player, would get kind of soft locked, right? Because they don't understand how to advance right away. There's no solid indicators. You of course can like realize like, oh, I need to go up to the counter. And if you're familiar with the game, you would know that E is to interact. But a lot of times I forget that you can do that. Even playing it now for a year and going, oh goodness, I can just interact with this and that'll make life so much easier, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is you do want to sort of handhold a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit, just to make sure that people do. Oh, I gotta stay in here for the full time to record my track, getting my audio in.
I can't wait till we get
cool.
inserted audio, because we can actually have somebody recording a track and have that inserted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if it's me and I'm doing like recorded audio, if you're not like super good and you just want it to make sense narrative wise, then 100% you come in and you just mumble this out, or you I don't know, kind of Charlie Brown it, so it's just this really, yeah, whatever works to get the point across that you are making a track. But okay, so we're here, we're mixing the track, and at this point in the game, which we had already tested, I gotta breathe sometimes, you know what I mean? We got add a kick to the mix track, and last time we played this, we realized that there is a difference. You could pick all of these up, but the order that the dev wanted them picked up was the leftmost asset, which
come on
apparently,
now. Did you already break
there
it?
we go.
There we go. Oh,
okay. So you pick it up, and you can climb the wall, and you can put it in the position that is, well, it's supposed to be in. And as you get close, you see it places it where the kicks belong.
Right. And once again, as a dev, this seems obvious while you're making it, right? So you end up making a store, and you go through, and it's like, oh yeah, the players are just going to go pick that up and then bring it to the counter, purchase it, and then go. They're going to come into this room, they're going to see these information blocks here, or the sound blocks, and they're going to pick them up from left to right and then just go up, right? And you've done it 100 times because you're trying to do QA. So you know exactly the flow, you know exactly which motions are going through, what order you're supposed to do it in. And then you bring it to somebody who didn't make the game, who hasn't played it 100 times while you're creating it. And we get the information and we go, what?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go left to right? That was never indicated.
Well, not only that, but you've also got this issue where your player might not be at all familiar with what sound design looks like in the modern era. This isn't, your 5th grade teacher's sheet music, right? This is you adding something that's predefined on a MIDI mixer onto that MIDI interface. And most people will have never interacted with that. So if you're teaching people how to make the track, there might need to be a narrative piece here that says, you're making your first music piece, and this is a MIDI board, and when you place nodes on it, the board will make music appropriately, or something like that. And
right.
put in the
Here's
extra
how to produce the track, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Instructions, some.
Yeah, and that's exactly the issue I think I see here is obviously, I didn't think about that when we first played it, actually. I only thought about that now because the first time that we played this, I'm familiar with this interface. I'm familiar with, and I talked about the waves and how they should really be different up there because that looks more like a sound wave.
Right. Doesn't quite match up.
Yeah, well, not only does it not match up in the left to right once we had the bass and do these other things, it doesn't match the style that normally comes up when you play back.
You want to turn the screen up just a little bit for us?
Sure. So when you play back your music, you see that green line in a real MIDI mixer. It's going to look like usually gray. Maybe it's a different color. It doesn't really matter. But it's not a line that makes a sine wave. It's a thickness that represents total volume depth. And sometimes, for whole bands of time, it's just straight up full 100% to both channels. Meaning it's going to be a solid green bar top to bottom if it's on the same color scheme. But 0 is actually a flat line in the middle of that with no volume at all. And so as you have more right channel, it'll fill up the top. And as you have more left channel, it fills up the bottom. And whoop, 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 as you go down the line.
Now Joe's making dubstep.
Yeah, we're dubstepping it up. We're about to get the bass, all right? I'm about to get the bass. Give me a break. Get
right.
The bass.
So, just as somebody who's familiar with it, it already looks a little off, but then you get somebody who isn't familiar with it. Now it's going to be even more confusing. And then this was my nitpick when we did this last time. You had to place down 4 of the kicks and then only 1 bass.
Right.
And I wanted to place down 1 kick or 3 basses, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because if you're only going to have us place 1 and then you define what that beat is, just so that we can kind of go through the motions of creating a track, then why aren't you putting, first of all, 4 basses down instead of 3, in my opinion? And then... Right. Because when you look at the music at the top, it is 4 copy pastes of the same wave, right? Starting, forgive me, it starts here and ends roughly here, but abruptly. So it's almost like they cut off the last bit because this triangle is only not on the first.
Yeah, I had to make it fit.
808, Yeah, in order to make it fit. It's just little stuff. It's stupid stuff, but you're talking about submitting this for the Warner Music Group Game Jam. So if there's a person at Warner that looks at this, they're either going to like it because it's novelty and not think about it too much, or they might be very picky about the way that the music looks to be produced and say, if this is going to represent us, then it's got to be great. And so those little things are going to make the difference.
And that's the rough part about game jams, is that there is always a theme that's kind of being the challenge. And if you don't know, your research, or if you don't do your research well enough, sometimes it can hurt.
Now, that said, this is amazing.
Right.
Like, right off.
It really is. I'm super impressed, regardless.
Like, it's
but again,
a lot of fun. But
as somebody who's, has a music background and is produced, I look at this and I go, it just tickles me a little bit because of almost like how close it is, but just how far away it is from where it needs to be. Now we got the sample here.
Right.
And as Backspace says in the chat, maybe on top of the color scheme on the wall, they can put in the words with the color box, e.g. kick in blue box, so players can make an intelligent guess. So they did actually make the colors there, but it's still a little like you still have to realize what's going on prior, or have to fiddle around with the room, which for some players that can be real frustrating, because you're just looking around and you're like, what do I gotta do, right? Do I, once again, do I have to press E on everything? Am I clicking interact randomly? Because that can be kind of frustrating.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's important that we're not catching in these, that you'll get in any The Sandbox game experience, is that when I did spawn this sample, there was no audible indicator that I did it, right? Typically, in a game that the Sandbox game creates, there are tests for literally everything, including when I walk up and click the button to add sample, it goes ching, or whatever it's going to do, right? It makes a little sound. Whatever it is. So you grab the thing and you go do the thing. Now, another conflict that I'm seeing as I'm here, and I don't know if it's exploitable, but it might be, is that your assets will be able to be infinitely spawned. So if you do the good thing, the cool thing, where you don't have to put 4 blue bars at the top, but you only have to place 1, then when you use the kick spawner, you can, on use, destroy the thing that adds a kick. Like, spawn this, half a second delay, the other function moves forward, and based on proximity, void destroys the add kick button.
Right.
You have that hidden inside this object.
What I would actually prefer to do is to give the players the option, in case they somehow lose their piece, make it to where the respawner is still there, but a part of that respawner destroys the other asset.
Yeah, and what that comes back to is this right here, because you're absolutely right. It's very possible. We've talked about it in previous sports-based game jams where people are trying to make a basketball game or something, or a soccer ball. You could take it through the wall, let it go, and now it's lost forever. So if you do the thing where the spawner only ever spawns 1, then this void needs to exist. This thing where if it's left out here, it's destroyed and it's respawned over here. And Alex made a tutorial about this. It's over there on the YouTube, youtube.com/thesandboxgame. You can find it. It takes...
the YouTube.
On the YouTube. We're pretty ubiquitous at this point, I think. If you're here and you're talking about the Sandbox game, you know where it is.
I'm just poking fun at you.
That tutorial will teach you how to create a spawner where if you lose your asset, it pops right back where it belonged, and you can pick it up again. All right.
Okay, what is next? We haven't done this part.
We have. We have? Yep. Elizabeth is going to say buy advertising on billboards, and the billboard up there will trigger.
This was right where we were at.
Yep, pretty close. Whew. It's a late day. I want to play some game. All right. So we're at the advertising agency, and confirm the purchase and place your concert announcement on the billboards. Do I talk to this guy? I don't know. This lady's here. Not too hard. Hey, do you want to purchase billboard placement? Yes. Let me pay. Instead of yes, I pay. Yes, let me pay. That sounds a little impatient. Yes, please. That's a better option.
Or if they're, in the music, you could give the narrative a little bit of a flavor. Be like, oh yeah, heck yeah, brother! Like, I'm ready to get rocking. Like anything. You can be as corny as you want. Yeah. Like,
you build the character, as Conrad is saying, with develop a narrative, right? What is the character's style? Are they, are they a hard rocker? Are they a Bob Marley? Are they a punk rock person? Are they rocking at all? Is this a country music singer? We don't know. Give them some flavor in the way that the text is written as best you can. And then don't close out that conversation just because you said something. The advertising agent wouldn't do that in real life. They would say, thanks. If you need something else, they're going to try to show you on the next thing.
All right. They want to keep selling you stuff.
Right. Come back for this, plant a seed. That's what they do. And then they call you in 6 weeks and they're like, hey, you just bought a billboard. Do you want to get some internet ads? Blah, blah, blah. It only costs, get on the radio,
And that goes a part of what I wanted to talk about next, which is a lived-in world, right? Spending that little extra time to maybe have some banter with NPCs or even little, talk bubbles as you pass by. And that can feel important to an experience. But most importantly, what I'm seeing or that I'm missing here is there's only the important NPCs available. We got nobody else walking around that advertising place. It felt very bleak. And we have some security guards and then the quest NPCs.
Yeah, and this is interesting too because, it's a little bit of a fenced-in area.
But it's a massive, beautiful set. But we're just missing some people.
Right. But I'm thinking about the security guards specifically. For some reason, it seems out of place. Because we've got, what's up, Raiders? Is this Ekions? Oh.
Who do we got coming in?
24K? Is it 24K? Who's in here?
No, I'm not sure.
24K?
It must be 24K.
What's up? Thanks for coming in, Golden Boy. I like the braids today, by the way. Did you see that, Conrad? He was streaming earlier. He's got the 2 braids going down. Looking good. Feeling good.
Did you see the avatar?
I see the avatar on the screen, though. I see the avatar.
No. Our Golden Boy has
oh, you're right.
a new
avatar. Yeah, I saw it. Like, it looks... It was weird. It was weird because it looks perfect. I was like, how do people do this? I'm literally constantly blown away by how well people do at making avatars of themselves or somebody else. Somebody made one of me like a year and a half ago. I never ended up using it because I couldn't get it imported into the avatar creator or whatever. That was literally missing this part of the facial hair. And I was like, that's it. That's the one. That's how you did me. How you make me look any different than any other dude out there. I don't know, but that's the one. Really good.
I'm going to keep making it hard on people. I'm going to change my face all the time. I know you, Golden Boy. All right, what do we got from Jolly John here?
All right, hear me out. My guy's name is Barton. You see that? It's hard to see, probably, because the text is smaller. But right up here, under his little indicator, character name Barton. Find Jolly John. I played it so much. Now it's your turn. Just warm up before this guy's text right here says Jolly John. Not a huge deal, but it's the little things that make the difference. What's up, King of Crypto? All right. So great idea, bro. I found Jolly John, but he's clearly tagged Barton.
Is Barton doing some identity theft here? You know it's not a joke, right?
Serious business. Okay. Serious business. All right.
Identity theft is not a joke,
Enter
Joe.
The game note Cather.
Have a wonderful night, Sparky. Thanks for joining us for what little time you were here for. We're going late tonight. Life had caught up to me today, so we're having to do it late.
Now, I'm hitting you with this. Not a big deal, but I see it, so I'm saying it. Note catcher. Note catcher. Enter the game note cather. Need a little H in there. Wait, C. Put a C. My bad. C. C-A-T-C-H-E-R. Anyway, let's play. Welcome to Note Catcher.
I'm going Box Ghost.
You ready to play? Woo! What's up, V?
Groovy Train Mystery Metatalia?
Alright, we're catching 25 notes.
Have that one on the list? I do have that one on the list. It is on the queue. We're going late tonight, so we probably will get to it. But if we don't, we're going to do it tomorrow. See, here we go. We got the proper equalizers again.
Alright, hear me out. You want to catch 25 notes? That's fine. I get that. But how do I catch
Do you
him?
have to punch him?
I believe I do.
Try pressing E on him.
Okay. Well.
Try interacting with him. Nope.
I'm spamming E. I'm getting nada.
Okay.
I'm gonna punch him.
Do the power punch.
That didn't work at all.
Now, can you walk past these picks?
The picks have physics on, but
can you get in between them there? Nope. Okay.
Nope. We're stuck. Catching notes.
Oh, I like the stars down there.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, range attack's not working either. Maybe interact with the guitar picks? What are we doing here?
Yep. Okay. Yes, it's interacting with the guitar pick as it comes
on time.
Forward and
okay.
Back.
Interesting. And here we go again with another moment where the dev had designed something and had a great idea. This is really cool. Probably don't need 25, but it's just another instance where, it looks obvious while you're creating it, but it's not obvious to the player who's doing it for the first time.
Yep. And what you end up getting here is something that's got a lot of potential for greatness, but in application, the way that you have designed it to respawn the notes as soon as they are destroyed here, it ends up losing something, because you can see I haven't left the yellow note. I'm just going to stay here, yellow pick, no big deal. A way that you could make this more engaging, more fun, very likely, would be to make it so that I just have one single white pick that can pluck every note, possibly. Not, just being plain. Even if I had that, it's probably not as engaging as something like the rhythm game experience that we played in terms of being a rhythm game. So if we're going to catch the notes here, I would limit it to probably 10 notes and use a white pick so that you can spawn notes on time for when I hit a different note. So if it starts with 1 red, 1 green coming down the way, then when you grab the first red, it spawns a yellow. When you grab the first green, it spawns a purple. When you grab a purple, it spawns a green, and when you grab a yellow, it spawns a red. Then you're going to have to hop around the different bars, right? The different strings of the guitar there, and make sure you pluck that string at the right time. So if that is the case, then you're going to have, I think, a more enjoyable gameplay experience for that game. But we're collecting 15 concert, or
Right.
collect 15 notes on the
And-
way to the concert, and hurry up to the concert and go through the musical water park.
Wizards K1 over on YouTube, it's not game show, it's actually GMAE show on purpose, because it's the good morning, good afternoon, good evening show. So it's our little gimmick. And also, welcome in Corrects the Mage.
Yeah, thanks, Wizard K. I appreciate you being here. I get that all the time. Get it all the time. But
Yeah, we love it.
It's all about the fact that we have a truly global community here at the Sandbox Game, and we like to celebrate that as often as possible. So if you're coming in and English is not your first language, feel free to use that first language in the chat to interact with us. We're going to do our best to be able to get good quality replies to you, because we know that sometimes it's easier for you to not have to think about 3 different ways of saying a thing, and our translate software is pretty darn good at this point. So I haven't seen something that we haven't been able to give a decent response to, and the closed captioning on YouTube that is live should be able to translate directly to your preferred local language. So people coming in from Asia, people coming in from India, people coming in from Ukraine, Russia, Korea, people coming in from we had some from Libya, some from like Congo. We had people all over Europe and the UK. UK doesn't count as Europe anymore. You know what I mean? You left that. I like to meme with that anyway. South America, North America, all over the place. So whatever your preferred is, feel free to put it there in the chat. We can handle it. All right, so we got collecting notes on the way to the concert. I assume that the concert is what's right in front of me, but let's see if we can find a couple of notes before we get there. Do a barrel roll, Got a little unmanned bar here. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay. So here we have an issue that you probably didn't even run into it as a dev. You probably didn't even try to come near here just to do it. But what happened with this particular asset is that the full width of the asset, left to right, forward and back, up and down, has a hitbox around it. And if you have an asset like this that you're spawning that is very large, and you want to avoid the hitbox nonsense so that they can walk on the grass right under this space, then create another asset. Maybe that's out of some invisible walls or something like that. Turn the collision off on the actual billboard, and then build a pillar in the middle of collision boxes.
Right.
That way you can walk around right through here and it doesn't break immersion. Because right now, I love music. Trying to find the musical notes, just running into that, a little bit off-putting. This here, it looks like you actually did that with this asset. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the hitboxes were just really well designed on this particular asset. Same thing with this. It's all good. Looks good, feels good. Can you earn real money by playing in the sandbox? Sorry.
Resurrection there on YouTube. I was about to point it out. How would you earn money in the sandbox? How would you make a living from playing video games, making video games?
Sure. Well, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can do it inside the Sandbox game. And yes, the answer is quite simply, you can earn real money by playing in the Sandbox. The Sandbox game has regular events and regular seasons, some events ongoing right now. If you go up to the play section in sandbox.game, and those events, to those people who verify that they are a real human being using the KYC methods and verify that you are 18 years or older, you can earn real money as sand cryptocurrency, which can in turn be exchanged for real US dollars. Now, right now, every one sand that you get is worth, let me pull it up. I had it off.
Sand go up today.
I think it did quite well, yes. Let's see.
Feels bad. I just paid bills yesterday.
Right? Could have just held it, but then you're like, I gotta pay the bills. 56.39 cents per 1 sand, right? And so if you do a competition, a contest that's doing 50,000 sand giveaway, and that's just for playing, and you're among, 5,000 people who do it, then each of you are getting 10 sand. That's $5, right? Just for while you're playing games. You're having fun already. You're playing the games. You're getting some money out of it at the end of the day. Hold on to that sand. You can use it to purchase assets in the ecosystem. Maybe use those assets to build an experience or game like this one. Use that game to win a game jam. Those game jams have really big prizes very regularly. We're talking about top prizes in the thousands of dollars, usually.
And how do you make games, Joe?
You can make games for free with the Sandbox Game Maker software, which is on the Create tab on the website, sandbox.game. And all the stuff that you see inside this game, the character, the guitar, the plant life, the fountain, that whole
animation.
Building, they were made, yes, and their animation of this car, right here. The car and its animation, made inside VoxEdit asset creation software, also free. Also, those asset creation softwares have competitions that you can win a bunch of sand for. So now you're making sand by playing games, you're making sand by making games, you're making sand by making art, and all of those, of course, can be converted into US dollars or alternative local denomination currencies via various exchanges. But, there's a lot of good opportunity for earning inside the Sandbox game. People who make games for game jams like these, when they get in the top of these game jam competitions, then you start to get certain eyes on you, like the Adidas of the world, that need people who develop their experience. So if that's your thing, if you're thinking to yourself, I want to turn from a player to a creator.
Like, shout out to OneBox, who's a regular chatter over on Twitch. They enjoy breaking these games just like we do. And they actually got themselves on the team with the QA for
there
Sandbox.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
There's even opportunity directly with the company. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. Now you say I did play a couple of times with your laptop and you had a hard time to figure out with the keyboard, but you think you like it. Well, yeah, if the keyboard and mouse isn't your thing, then some people have plugged in a controller to do it with external softwares to manage the controller by remapping keyboard functions and mouse functions to joysticks and buttons. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, that works out great. In the long term for the Sandbox game, not for developers, but for players, the Sandbox game will be coming to mobile as well. So you're here at an early point, just learning about it today, where if you were a creator, there's going to be, I would project to say, millions of players on mobile, as there were over 40 million downloads on iOS, Android of the last version of the Sandbox game before it went 3D, before it added the crypto stuff. So lots of cool stuff there.
Which I actually played that game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
it was
a pleasant surprise being here.
All right, so
now we got some more questions in the chat as you're continuing to play. And yes, Crex, I make the pocket sand joke all the time. Yeah, pocket sand. But to an actual question here, Ninja Puppy Inbox over on Twitch wants to know when the rewards from Council Tech are going to be distributed for the end of year celebration, the Sandies. And we are still collecting addresses and making sure that we have the right locations. So if I haven't already contacted you, then I'm going to go ahead and try sending out again tomorrow. And we're trying to collect the last of them, but if anything, we're trying to send them out this weekend. So
yeah,
thank you for being patient with us.
All, if not most of them, then we can do that.
Right. We're going to try and give them out all at the same time. And then Skyhand110 over on YouTube says, are you guys working on a bridge for assets on OpenSea that will be usable in the sandbox in the future? So if I want to start selling NFTs, now will there be a bridge for buys in the future?
Okay, let me reread that just because that last little bit. Will there be a bridge for buys in the future?
Yeah.
So if the assets get moved to Polygon, then they should first, they would have a bridge. But the bridge at this time, oh, this is bright. This is really bright.
Oh, that is blinding.
I would like to see some contrast here.
I can see it on your face. Yeah.
You could literally see how bright it is. Look at my face.
Yeah.
Look at how red my face is. You made my face red with all the brightness.
You're tanning right now.
I'm literally UVB
calculator.
rays done. What?
Calculator.
Oh yeah, you get the logic.
There was a calculator right there. Yeah.
There was a floating calculator in the near the beginning of this as well. So usually people will use calculators as logic bits in the game maker. Whew. But let's answer this guy in 110 question still. Working on a bridge for assets on OpenSea. There will be some sort of a bridge to move assets that exist right now on ETH to Polygon. That bridge will not be on OpenSea because OpenSea is not the place where our assets are created or our smart contracts are necessarily distributed. OpenSea just knows how to read an ERC 1155 or ERC 721 asset, which are the types of tech that our stuff is built on. So somebody's car alarm is going. The bridge will be like the land bridge was built into the website at sandbox.game when that is ready. However, there may be some new iterations to assets that are built in the near future. So there may be some changes before we get there. Not fully complete, so nothing that I can fully disclose at this time. Oh, darn it.
Right.
Oh, double
Just
darn
like all the beans that I got to learn about playing 0.8.
it.
Oh, chat.
It's a lot, right?
It's going to be a good one.
And I got a meeting freaking out the first time. Oh, I jumped too early.
Oh, you were trying to anticipate it. Just didn't work.
So it's pretty low contrast on the edge of this as well. And the edge is only one thickness, so if I'm going to die, it would be a little bit frustrating to have to die twice and 3 times. You know? Okay. No! Alright. Here's what we're going to do. You ready for it? You ready for it?
Speed run?
Oh, we're speedrun. For sure.
I believe. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. And we're trying to break it.
And now I don't care about your discs.
Don't you have to go all the way up, though?
Oh, heck. Possibly. Do I have to go all the way up? That's a good question.
Also, can you get to that boat to the left?
Probably. Ah! Let's see. Nope.
Does it get close enough?
Not quite. Now I'm curious. Now you got me curious. Got a whole roller coaster
Okay,
over
we
here.
do have a border, though. I want to go on that roller coaster.
Physics are on the hitbox all the way around the entire roller coaster, so that's not going to work. But you just hit this open bunch of air here. Also, the roller coaster is not even on the ground, so that's kind of weird.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I get that you're not supposed to go there, but that's what QA is doing things you're not supposed to do. Ah! No! Get back
I really
here.
like this record. It looks very good.
It does look nice. Stop it, record. No!
Oh, man.
Back here.
So, our wheels, or as I mistakenly named them, our weasel, is notorious for making a very difficult game that almost broke me. What was it? 12 layers of happiness or 12 layers of fun?
Oh, I forgot about that one, yeah.
Yes, and there are some jumps that are super tricky. And it looks like he's, once again, or rather they are trying to channel some of that perfect timing here.
Well, it's not so much perfect timing, it's completely offset timings. So I'm just like waiting for...
Oh, I mean the perfect timing of your jumps. You got this, Joe.
I just have to wait for the timings to come together because they're both like this one's like 4.5 seconds and that one's like 5 seconds of travel time. So it's like now I gotta wait 8 rotations for it to come back and sync up in time. If I don't want to fall, you know.
Okay, hold on a second though.
What?
So on this one right here, you should be able to jump. Nope, I'm a liar.
Literally.
Okay, so this one needs to be tested out more.
Yeah, they're just a little bit offset in their timings where that will now take like 10 rotations to get back to where I need it to go.
Oh, nice save.
Thanks.
There we go. So it looked like before it was fine, but I think you're correct. They are offset pretty harshly.
All right.
Okay, what's going on here?
Still got to get the music notes.
I like this giant piano. Or rather, synthesizer. It'd be really cool to have it to where every time you jump down on one of these, it made a sound.
Yes, but custom sounds to that degree are not in the game yet.
I mean, you could still make it to where as you pop down, it it does like a little ding or something like that. That's already preset, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Dr. Metaverso always on Twitch says, "Hey, @Conrad, can you please read this? Thanks, bro." Heart emoji.
That's it. Read the love. All right, I'm going to go the wrong way. Can I? I cannot. But it's wide open. So I ask again, why not? What's going on? What's going on with that? In my opinion, invisible walls need not exist. You've already got a bush up here on top of a building with no dirt under it. What's the bush for? Put it behind these arrows if you don't want people to go in here. If you want to create an invisible wall, why not create a visible wall?
Yeah, dude, like just a smaller hedge or something like that. If you don't feel like hiding most of the building. But now we get to go around it. Here we go.
Yeah, this is a very
Let's see if we can get on the backside of that.
Game design decision right here. This is a thing. Well, this is me playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. All right, and if there's not an S back here at the end, mistakes. This could have been an Easter egg opportunity for sure. Literally, if there was a hedge there, and then you get back here, and it's just a dev.
Being like, hey, what are you doing to go back to the game, man? Like,
what are you? Yeah, my name is Arweez. Or whatever. Now you got me wanting to call him Arweasel. But yeah, hey, look, it's me, Arwheel, and I just want to see you do great. Go check me out on Twitter. Hee.
Right.
And then he's out.
Which you should always plug yourself in these games that you guys are creating, folks. Advertise yourself.
There we go.
Show your work.
Hill says, Tony Hawk mentioned Hill by name once. It's crazy.
Really? That's really cool. Hodls everywhere.
You got a little left.
Get that crown, queen.
Okay.
Happy concert.
I don't know if they really ready for this, y'all. Let's put them up on game. For real.
All right, what's happening here?
What is happening? No, really. What's happening? Is this... If it's my concert, the curtain went up. Let me go. Let me in. I can't hit you.
You gotta enjoy, Joe.
Enjoy what? The mic's open. I assume this is the song I produced.
Enjoy. I have no doubt that the bitrate on our VOD right now is dying because of these lines, which is a heads up to you creators that want your streamers to play these games.
It's true. As I'm moving back and forth, if we're looking very archived, very pixelated, it's because of all these lines that are super high contrast. So that could negatively impact an experience that you create as a dev, because people hopefully will be playing your games on live streams like this one. And when they do, you're going to want them to look good doing it, because they're going to want to publish it later over on YouTube or something. And you're going to want to have a good time with that. Skyhand 110, any word on the next land sale? I can't give specifics, but it's my understanding they want to have one here in Q1. Not 100% sure on that, but I think so.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Any word on the next land sale? Yes.
That's what, yeah. There we go. Yes. I think that it was already on the website, actually, the next land sale. Like the time of it. When the last land sale ended, I think it was listed already. Dates, of course, always subject to change, but I think I remember that. Woo.
Okay, Joe, turn around. Is there something behind you here? We got all this way.
That's it. Enjoy.
Can you jump?
Enjoy. Literally.
Maybe try and get over one of these invisible walls. I mean, it's really cool.
It looks decent, but I can't see it. Like, how irritated would the crowd be if they went to what is presumably my concert and I don't even walk out on the stage? The song ended. I still can't walk out. Right? It's wild. But all that said, now you know all the things in this experience that could be changed, adjusted, tweaked, fixed, what have you. Overall, a fine experience. You know, I think there's some stuff to develop for sure. Your character, the life in the world, right? Not having everything so clean and polished looking, but having a more polished experience overall. Those are the things that you want to do. But yeah, we'll probably wrap that game right there. What do you think, Rad Condad?
Yeah, we can move on to the next one. John Vader over on YouTube says, you already have a guitar and a mic. Why don't you just sing for us?
I don't have a guitar. And
I mean, I got the guitar. We can make it happen, but maybe not on this show. Regardless, chat. I'll have to check that out after the show here. I'm excited to see that. Love Tony Hawk. He always has the best stories, especially for him getting mistaken for being Tony Hawk, and then him going, yeah, look just like him. It's crazy. It's always a lot of fun. And I don't think that was the song from Nobody, Ninja Puppy Inbox. Was it playing the Sandbox game rap?
No.
No. What song was playing? I wasn't listening to it.
I have no idea.
We weren't paying attention, chat. Our bad.
I was a little bit triggered by the fact that there was an invisible wall right after I said there shouldn't be an invisible wall. And then I hit the invisible wall that was clearly a lifted curtain.
Right. Otherwise, it was really, really solid effort. There's a bit of polish that needs to happen there, which is just going to come from playing the game, doing some QA, and getting people that aren't familiar with your process to play your experience. That way you get some fresh eyes on it.
Sure. All right.
For sure. All right, so we're going to be on page 15.
15? Crazy.
15.
Crazy for this one.
And we're going to be playing Mandancy's The Ant and the Grasthoven.
The Grasthoven.
And
okay.
I'm only skipping over a game right now because I could not find it. If Life Made Me Paul is in the chat. If you could tell us where your game is at, we would love to play it. Or if anybody in the chat knows where it's at, it's the WMG Game Jam final song. Couldn't look.
All right.
Might be blind,
what's
though.
up? How you doing over there on YouTube? Welcome to the chat.
Bless. Okay, this looks amazing.
So far, aesthetically, right away, great. Whew.
That's pretty funny backspace. I'll have to check that out.
So we got
Rowan Atkinson's super
Ant
funny
character,
too.
simply named Ant. Some small foods.
Okay,
a beautiful looking compass.
This is straight up a Bug's Life.
Right? Yeah, no, for sure. Why am I a grasshopper? Now you got me triggered. I'm the bad guy.
I know you're the bad guy. You're the one ordering these ants around.
Can't believe. That's why I'm a match or spear of some kind. Hey, grasshopper, you will starve to death if you don't store up food for the winter and just play the music. And just play music. You wrote, and just play the music all day long. I would say, and just play music all day long.
Just play music all day long, right?
Well, I love music, I would say in reply. Like, completely ignoring the fact that you like music. This says, well, I'll succeed in music. You'd say, I love music. Like, you completely disregard them. Or you could say something like, I'm going to make my music anyway. If you want to be a little bit more, a little more rude, a little more to the point.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'll have to check that out. And Jay Kang.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Jay Kang over on YouTube has a question about some rewards still not showing up. I don't think you've been rugged, but do you know which rewards you're asking about? Or can you tell us which rewards you're asking about, rather? Because there's a lot out there. And then go ahead, Joe.
All right. So you've got a meme that I was going to mention, a little laugh. Somebody said that the Earth's poles are jacked up, corrects the mage, because that compass is going nuts. So that's pretty funny. And I kind of agree with that. Like, to have the needle wiggle a little, fine for the cool animation.
Right, but this compass is broken.
Spinning in circles? No. Yeah. I would say, no, this is a broken compass, or somebody set it on a magnet. Not working great. Okay, and then another thing I want to note, as we talk about rewards in general, please understand that there is a good number of rewards that get distributed, of all types of rewards, and many of these contests need to be, if you were here for season number 3, you'll know what I'm talking about, need to be verified and re-verified as real people and individuals, and not a bunch of people trying to pretend to be individuals, right? So they will get filtered down and sorted, and they take a little bit longer to do that, but rewards distribution has been going out. It was mentioned that like Game Jam distributions were taking a bit longer recently, and that is true for a variety of reasons, that included. And so there's a whole bunch of different stuff, not just for the Game Jam events, but for any sort of event. But let's get back to the gameplay here.
Right.
In my opinion, it's very difficult to have success in music. You better find something to eat for the winter. Whew. Yawning a whole bunch, man, today. I gotta stretch it
Killing me.
I'm sorry.
We're coming up to our hour-and-a-half break here in 10 minutes, and that's when a Wizzy-themed NFT may go out.
Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah. What's up, Keeper Top Shot? All right, let me see here. Moonrider saying, hey guys, since the last upgrade, I don't seem to be able to transfer my newly created assets from VoxEdit to the marketplace on my personal account / inventory, so I can test it out in the Game Maker. Moonrider, there are a number of different updates that are going out to the platform in the near future. You may want to check and make sure that there hasn't been a new one again for VoxEdit since you last updated, / alternatively the Game Maker. If there was recently, you may also be seeing some of the maybe it's just time coincidental because maybe an update was going out as you're working on it. Maybe if you're working on it multiple times during the day, you're seeing some different integration steps being done that's leading us to the 0.8 update. But you know, there is some time. What's up?
I found Life Made Me Paul's game.
Oh, good.
I looked right past it. I'm totally blind, chat. It's on page 17.
He went and did it. All right. Let's see here.
Okay, seriously though, this looks amazing.
It does. It does. 100%. Check the note indicated on the sign. You must collect the corresponding note. Are you ready? Yes. Well. Oh. What?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's fast.
Whoa.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, what?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
This is
okay. Okay. I like this.
Random speed. There we go.
Oh, okay. So it picks up randomly. Run against it, Joe. Run against it. Try and slow yourself down.
I'll never.
Whoa, whoa. Also, I want to remind everybody that if you ever have any questions that you can't catch us on here, or we can't really go into some assistance on, or we can't possibly answer, we just don't simply know it, please head on over to the Discord, and there's always the opportunity to create a ticket and attempt to solve the issue.
Okay, so gameplay-wise,
missing rewards.
This is interesting because this is playing like no mechanic I've seen yet, I guess. Like, it feels good.
I'm getting dizzy a little bit.
It definitely could make you dizzy. Yep, if you're not focused on the grasshopper only.
Huh. Yeah, just keep jumping. Just keep jumping. You're a grasshopper, Joe.
I'm getting it, bro. I'm hot. Crisscross will make you wanna
jump.
That's right. That's right. Digital Media Copyright Act. You get me. Get me with that one. Catch me with that one. We did that so well.
Dude, while we were doing the equalizer part in that last game, I kept going, wanna hit you all with the boom boom pat. Oh yeah. Tribe Called Request. It had me so bad.
I'm not familiar.
It's on my head.
Honestly,
really?
That's not
oh my goodness,
serious.
You are missing out on an era, friend.
It's just that, like, it's just that group that inspired, like, they were going for something that felt retro when they did that. And for me, that wasn't it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean, retro?
I mean that the stuff that I like was inspired by that stuff, not them. No offense to them.
Okay, all right. We don't like the 85s.
Yeah, no, not at all. No, I was like a.
I'm over here with my Sugar Hill gang, and Joe's like, no, not happening.
Yeah, no. I was like a big in Tupac. Later on, like Jay-Z. I did like people who were derivatives of that, like Nas, but
okay. I mean, I still like that too. But
yeah,
I get what you're getting at.
Round 2, collect more. Oh yeah.
Oh, have a wonderful night, Pickaxe Master. Thanks for popping by. It's even faster.
Now I'm supposed to collect
Dev.
that one without collecting the
Dev.
others.
I think we gotta lower the speed on this one a little bit.
Ah, no.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, the other notes hurt. Don't play the wrong ones.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, there it is. Get over here, bro.
You just gotta jump forever. Now I understand why you're a grasshopper for real.
There we go. Here we go. Return of the grass. You know?
Adam Sale knows what I'm talking about.
What? That it's dizzying?
No, that Tribe Called Quest is where it's at.
Oh, okay. Listen, I don't know about you.
I gotta show you their hits. All right, I'll show you their hits. We'll get into it.
I'm just a firm believer in one truth. All right, that Wu-Tang is for the children. That's it. If you disagree with that, you know, you're entitled to
We're memeing over here because it's music time, chat.
Ah! Stop it. No!
Okay. We're doing them in the order.
Yeah, I'm not even close to the notes that I need. And I'm gonna die. Help me. Oh, game over.
I love this game over screen. That's a poor thing.
Wait, do you hear this song?
It's pathetic. That's hilarious.
The song is talking stuff on me right now. It just called me a loser.
It
said
did.
F it up.
It did.
Song's perfect. Song is perfect.
Love it. That's some Swaco.
That's song choice. That is the choice that you make. All right? That is the song choice. You're saying you're going to hit me with a game over? You start the music. You suck. Right away. That's what the song said. You're trash. Get out of here. Also, the song is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I like Swaco.
Nice.
You died. For all your Soulsborne fans over there.
You didn't listen to me like that, and you ended up dead. It's pathetic.
I love that. It's pathetic. All right, a Cool King Lemon over on Twitch.tv says, is it possible to create a game experience in Sandbox without owning or using someone else's land?
Wait, where
Can you
is
create a
this
game?
exactly?
A little ways back. We actually skipped over it.
Yeah. So you can create an experience without owning a land, but you're limited to publishing that creation inside the Sandbox Game Maker gallery. And typically in that gallery, you are allowed to share it for the purposes of somebody testing it, if not yourself. So that gallery, you can get like this show right here. We're playing a game out of the gallery. This person has created something for the WMG Game Jam, which the game looks like quite a bit of fun. And I'll probably play it again right after a really short intermission here in just a couple of minutes.
Right.
You can publish to there. But if you want people at large, the general internet, to be able to play it, there are people who are playing the Sandbox game in the Sandbox game client that are not playing it in the Game Maker gallery. So the game client is the place where people come in if they want to just be gamers, they want to play and earn potentially, or they're playing as part of the season of content when those seasons roll around. But as it is right now, you absolutely can create, you can learn, play around, make something cool, enter in a game jam, potentially earn quite a bit of sand tokens, and then use those sand tokens to purchase a land and use that land with your experience, publish them so that people can play in your experience in the metaverse.
For real. And before we go on this quick break, I want to point out that B in the upper left that I'm just noticing here, that's really cool.
Yeah. That looks like a murder
and then Ice Pilot wants to know, can we go over the mechanics of how to make a rotating platform? Is it just a bunch of separate platforms on a bird behavior? We'll get back to that question when we come back. And Skyhand110 also knows good songs. And can I kick it? Yes, you can, my friend. Go ahead and take us away.
All right. In the meantime, right now, real quick, chat, there's going to be a link going out, not the Nightbot link, but another link for a Wizzy-themed NFT, which is a limited NFT that we give away on this show each and every week. So as we go into the intermission, it's going to be maybe 5 minutes to get a little stretch in, come back, do another hour and a half or so of show. All right.
Tongue twister.
And we're going to do the giveaway right as we come back for that. So we'll see you soon. And I'm just going to turn this music up for this. We're going to hear about how I'm such a loser, and then we'll come back and hopefully I'll be a winner.
There you go. There you go.
If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Even if I could, I wouldn't let go. Maybe I'm addicted to the pain. Why is every day so uneventful? I just get more of the same, more of the same. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. Fuck you, maybe I don't wanna be saved. Damage in my brain that I can't undo. I'm more than just a little insane. Please don't ever ask me what I'm up to. You don't wanna hear what I'ma say. Strip the west and hanging out the sunroof. I might end up MIA. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Even if I could, I wouldn't let go. Maybe I'm addicted to the pain. Why is every day so uneventful? I just get more of the same, more of the same. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. Fuck you, maybe I don't wanna be saved. Damage in my brain that I can't undo. I'm more than just a little insane. Please don't ever ask me what I'm up to. You don't wanna hear what I'ma say. Strip the west and hanging out the sunroof. I might end up MIA. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. I'm a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Even if I could, I wouldn't let go. Maybe I'm addicted to the pain. Why is every day so uneventful? I just get more of the same, more of the same. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. Fuck you, maybe I don't wanna be saved. Damage in my brain that I can't undo. I'm more than just a little insane. Please don't ever ask me what I'm up to. You don't wanna hear what I'ma say. Strip the west and hanging out the sunroof. I might end up MIA, MIA. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Word that they say. Such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Even if I could, I wouldn't let go. Maybe I'm addicted to the pain. Why is every day so uneventful? I just get more of the same, more of the same. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. Fuck you, maybe I don't wanna be saved. Damage in my brain that I can't undo. I'm more than just a little insane. Please don't ever ask me what I'm up to. You don't wanna hear what I'ma say. Strip the west and hanging out the sunroof. I might end up MIA, MIA. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. I always fuck everything up, it's a curse. And I can't even catch a break when everybody's in my way. I'm such a loser, swear to God, I'm the worst. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. If I had a death note, I would write my name on every page. Hear them talking shit over my headphones. Every single word that they say. Word that they say.
You ready? You ready to go?
Let's do it.
You ready to go, big dog?
Everything up, it's a curse.
Oh, and we're back.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
And for those fans over there, I had to bring it out.
What you got?
Oh, Joe, you got an echo.
I'm echoing
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, there you
Oh,
are.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No more master. You're out of here. You're out of here, fake other Joe. Ghost Joe. No Ghost Joe allowed.
I need People's Instinctive though.
My
I don't have that album.
Stay in 110, got you. Joe don't know the classics. Listen, I know many classics, but just I'm not a huge fan of like that style generally. Like I didn't love LL Cool J either. I know it's way different, but it's close enough. You know, where I'm like, it's that timeline. I'm not there. Sorry. I know you're even younger than I am, but it's just, nope. You know.
I mean, they were most active, mid '90s.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Joe can actually get a victory here. And then after this game, we're going to be moving on to Life May Be Paul's game.
If I leave it spinning, you're getting tired. But mechanically, what we were talking about before, somebody said, is it just a bunch of fly mechanics? That's essentially the case, yes. It's just pushing you around on platforms that are on fly. As I get closer into the center, the fly speeds change. The platforms that are under change. But there are many of them. And they are large. So that you don't get yourself, like, stuck, sort of.
Stuck in between.
Fall off. Yeah, exactly.
But they've done it very, very well.
Yeah, it's clean. It works well. Even if not fast. And a little bit nauseating, I'll admit. But not bad. Not awful.
Skyhead 110's hitting you with some Q-tip.
Wait. Vibrant thing? I mean, yes, of course I know vibrant thing. What is that? That's crazy. That's like... I don't even know. I'm trying to think of another reference in the same sort of box here. I'll just let that hit me. I'll just let that one hit me. I don't even have to go get that.
Take a break. Yeah.
Drink a little water.
Ooh. Here's a great question from Cool King Lemon. Is it worth it? Is it worth developing games on Sandbox? E.g., is it easy to monetize or more of just a hobby?
Well, let me see if I can show you. Not tell you. I'm gonna go to the Sandbox Game.medium.com.
Okay, 110 has a point. See, that's Tribe right there. Q-tip? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, but it's different. That's like saying that Harry Styles is One Direction. Like, no. It's a different thing. That's saying that Lisa is Blackpink. I could go on. Just like pick anybody.
I understand.
You know, is Nick Jonas the Jonas Brothers? Nope.
I mean,
you know.
Yes, but we'll put it on the playlist. Okay. We'll get some.
I'm trying to find here a good example for you.
For Cool King Lemon.
Yes.
There on the Twitch chat.
Of one of the game jams that we've recently done. So we've got a lot of articles on the website. Sandbox. SandboxGame.medium.com is usually where you can find these nice game jam experiences that you can compete in. But they come through usually about every month or so. So on December 5th, 2022, this was a users pick winner announcement. And oh, no, that was picked by users. It doesn't have a sand prize. I'm trying to find it quickly. You know, we're posting so many great new things. Back in the day, chat, I posted on Twitter earlier today something about, I don't know, almost like 1,100 days ago. I bought my first land. Back then, you could literally buy an estate by clicking the individual lands and buying them individually because there were so few people who really understood what this was, what it was going to be. I didn't even work here at that point. But, you know, then a game jam would be like monumental, right? You know, we're giving away like $25,000, $30,000 there. But if we were doing something like that now, let me see here. Got voting close, user pick. Come on, show me the prize. I want to see the prize, chat. I want to see somebody who's won.
While you're trying to find it here,
yes,
it essentially there are a lot of ways to be a part of the Sandbox ecosystem, right? So you can do many jobs as far as what game development goes. There's desire for QA, like for instance myself and Joe. There are plenty of streamers out in the world that are making profits off of playing these games as well. You have folks that need to be hired to actually, create games for LAN. So as an artist, you would end up figuring out how to use the Game Maker, which is script free. It's all in the Game Maker itself. So if you can play a game, you can learn how to do the Game Maker. And through that, you can market yourself to try and get in on those teams. You can join studios. There's going to be need for voice actors. There's going to be need for producers for music coming up, and just everything that has to do with video game making is going to be a desire for it. So it's realistically, how you monetize it is by marketing your talents and figuring out a way to be a part of the ecosystem and the community. And that's where this stream comes in, is that we are playing your games, trying to make your experiences on that next level, to where you can get the attention of these studios and the big names that are a part of the Sandbox already.
Yeah, 100%.
Joe, what do you got there in the link?
Now, okay, so I've linked two things for you that are good examples of ways that you can monetize in the Sandbox game immediately. The first one was a VoxEdit asset creation contest. So you see the record that is spinning under this character. Maybe it was on this contest. That's not the case in the contest that I linked, but maybe a VoxEdit contest pops up soon that says create a music instrument or an item related to music. Then you get this. You've created this record player, right? With the physics and the scale that it's going to fit in the game the way this does. And somebody might say, that looks great. That I could use in an experience for the WMG Game Jam. I like it, and they vote for it as the top contender in that music asset creation contest. If that was the case, then thousands of sand in prizes, typically. Here, the second article that I linked, the Star Atlas Game Jam. In their Game Jam, which is a partnership between ourselves and the Star Atlas community, and they're creating an Unreal Engine 5 game that's made, like, it's set up in space. They asked you to create either the best overall idea, have the best game design, be the most creative or unique, or have the best use of Star Atlas lore, with the total prize pool 30,000 sand tokens, and Star Atlas in their game prizes separately. Right, so if you were one of the winners, each winner receiving 7,500 sand, which right now equates to about, what math, $3,500 to $4,000, something like that.
Cut it in half and add 6%.
Right, yeah, I mean, right. So, yeah. So if you are, getting that kind of prize, that's monetization in the short term. But what Conrad is talking about is that we have 166,464 lands that will ever exist in the Sandbox game. Many bigger names have bought large plots of land, and quite frankly, they're not going to have time to develop a game or experience for all of those lands. Because
this game
what we're playing
here is on a 1x1, right?
Right. I'm almost certain this is on a 1x1. And this experience, there's a ton going into this. The design of the boot, the design of the record player, the design of the clovers on the ground, the swaying flowers that are to scale relative to a character. The character's 2 meters tall in real scale, but when you put all these larger elements that are normally small next to them, excuse me, that makes good character design, while also making good world building, good environment design along the way. So as as it goes,
excuse me.
it's worthwhile to do these sorts of things for a variety of different reasons. All right, autumn has already begun. Shall we listen to the music made with the notes you collected? How do you like it? It's a great
music.
Now this is what this show is all about. In terms of world design, fantastic, right? The game so far has been fun, if not a little nauseating because you are spinning a whole bunch. But the sign says, how do you like it? It's a great music. This is great music, maybe. Or great music so far, because of the next sentence. I look forward to its completion.
Oh, right. To add on to the monetization question.
Sure.
Right now, there's not the open NFT market on the Sandbox marketplace, but there is plans to have that open up to everybody. So on top of, putting in the work and the hours to, be an artist somewhere in the space, or even management in some way, or even a tester, you also can directly sell the NFTs on the marketplace to other folks that they can use in their games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and also, number go up, number go down. It's crypto.
Right. Well, that's the thing, too. It's like, from a certain aspect, a person could say, it's worth whatever it is in dollars, right? But that is, by and large, a short-term mindset. A person, because there's some new people in the market, the older folks, they're going to know this story. Back when sand first came out, it was like 8 cents. And then it dropped to like 2 cents. And I bought 330,000 of those at 2 cents. And at 10 cents, I was like, heck yeah, I'm rich, I'm out. Not really rich, but you know what I mean? It was a good margin. I was hype about it, sold it. It went up to over $8 at a certain point during the hype most extreme period of the last run on cryptocurrency, in which case I would have had millions. And at the end of the day, all of that doesn't really matter, because one sand will always be worth one sand. And when you're operating in this economy, the sandbox ecosystem, you're going to want to have the token that operates the system, for whatever reason it is. The person who created this game or experience, if they didn't want to be the artist, but they were a great game designer, then they would buy the grasshopper on the marketplace at sandbox.game for a determined amount of sand, not dollars. They would buy, the music stand, the flowers, the foliage, the record player for sand, not US dollars, right? So as you're competing in these Game Jam competitions, in these VoxEdit asset creation competitions, holding the sand makes sense in that if you want to continue to operate in the ecosystem, then you're going to do that. And it is my genuine belief that over time, just as a result of our dedication to the space, and quite frankly, you can look, there's nothing more developed in the crypto space than what we have. There's nothing more ease of access than what we have, right? You don't really need to be an expert. You can pick up the tool and use it in a relatively low amount of time. I've seen kids who are like 8 years old using VoxEdit to create assets. I've seen, adults in their 70s using VoxEdit to create assets. So there's lots of opportunity there. And as Cool King Lemon mentions, Roblox is similar in that sense that they have an open ecosystem.
Roblox requires scripting and some API knowledge, right?
Sure.
But as a game maker, it's all entirely interfaced to be user-friendly to where you don't have to have any scripting knowledge, period. And they also ask where, they mentioned that in Roblox you can monetize to where you can sell game passes and in-game items. So the idea of season passes is going to be a thing the same way that we have our open seasons right now in the sandbox for our alpha. And as far as, you know, in-game items go, that's what these NFTs are. You creating these assets and then adding them into your games, well, anybody can buy anything that you want to sell from your game itself. You can gate your land and gate sections in your land where you can, the only way to get there is through buying an NFT, buying that in-game item, right? Or in-ecosystem item.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to the point of like somebody buying an in-game item, an NFT, I'm sure you're thinking about the same way that you would buy that in a Roblox or you would buy that in a Fortnite or whatever, right? That's something that we want to have implemented in the late part of the cycle. But as it stands right now, we are, as I mentioned, you know, when I first started buying land, there wasn't even a game maker. It didn't exist. It was an idea in a white paper. And, you know, there was very rough, rudimentary, like YouTube videos that were made and nothing, right? And
right.
I saw that at that point and said it made sense. And as we've gone further along, it's gotten only better and more refined and more efficient and more features and better optimization. It's working on more hardware every single day, and we're working towards those features. So when we release a season of play, and I'm going to get to Backspace's comment on here too, because I think it's a really good question as well. The game passes, that already exists if you own land. If you own land, then you publish your experience on that space, and you can say, the only people who can access this space own this NFT. It doesn't have to be necessarily in the long term. I'm not sure, to be fair, I'm not sure if this is the case on day one, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the Sandbox game asset that was created. Right now, we have alpha passes, right? And those alpha passes, Alpha Pass Season 1, had almost all of the first season. If you didn't get an alpha pass, you didn't get to play. You got to play 3 experiences, and everything else was locked out unless you had a pass, which we gave away for free. It was random, but you know, we know the tech works. Season 2, everything except for the very last experience was open for everyone to play, and then the people who got the passes had one celebration space. Season 3, it was all totally open, but in other, you know, partner lands, they're going to have the opportunity to make that decision for themselves. You could be that partner in your own individual space, Cool King Lemon. When you make an NFT, you say, my space is gated out. Only people who bought my NFT can play in my space. And something akin to that, in this ecosystem, you could sell it purely like you sell any other video game, right? Yeah, you know, your Gears of Wars, your Mario, whatever, your Destiny, that comes out, people buy it because they like what the trailer had to say about it. So when you develop a game in the Sandbox game, you're essentially creating your trailers, right? If you create a really high quality experience for a game jam, somebody says, I really like that experience. You say, well, my next one, here's an NFT. You can play it on my land. And any subsequent game that I ever make after that, I'll publish to that land, and you have access to it. Now they pay whatever it is to get unlimited games, whatever your development cycle is, once every 3 months, 6 months, a year, as you publish new games on it. They constantly have access to it because they kept your pass, and you can do it that way. In-game items, not there yet. But again, that's something we want to do, where you would have the option to possibly have NFT and or cryptocurrency interactions built into your experience as well.
And that's come from user feedback. So if you have ideas that, you know, you want to see a part of it, that's why we're in alpha. We're still building it, still trying to make it happen. And we're listening to your guys' feedback, trying to answer your questions. So thank you for asking the questions, Cool King Lemon. And hopefully you stick around with us and learn some more as well and maybe get interested. If not, then it's been a great conversation. Go ahead.
Okay, so one more point to that, to note about sort of the timeline, because I think you get a lot of questions about this. I saw somebody post on Twitter the other day. They were like, oh, I'm going to, you know, have to pass down my account to my grandkids or something like that. They're memeing about it. And the fact is that we aren't developing a game. as a Sandbox game, we are developing a game engine, which is like to say that we are creating Unreal Engine, right? We're making it no code, so you don't really have to know anything except for how do I set these parameters and then make them work in different ways to do what I want at the end of the day. So it ends up being more like playing around with the tool than it is like typing code in the tool and trying to hope that it comes out with the end product that you wanted. So because we're developing an engine, it's important to understand that the time cycle is also a little bit lengthened in that. It typically is. A game engine, I think, takes between 5-7 years, sometimes 10 years, depending on what it is, to be fully made. And the Sandbox game has the funding to do that, right? We've been at it for 3 years so far. We've got significant improvements, and anybody who's been here a long time can tell you, they can show you. The 0.8 update is one of the biggest ever that has been made for it, and I think you're going to see that immediately. It'll almost change like everything you think about this, because it's going to look dramatically more real, even though it's voxelized. Just on the lighting engine, the injection of iframes for video code, so that you could put this stream in your experience or your own like pre-recorded video and Premiere something in there. All kinds of different stuff. Huge deal. But anyway, the cycle for development on that takes longer, but that's fine. We have the time for it. So that kind of goes back to the question about like, you know, sands going up, sands going down. As Conrad said, like number go up, number go down. Doesn't really matter because we already have secured funding to make sure that we're continuing to develop this tool regardless of whatever happens in crypto. Now, right. Backspace asking this question that I also wanted to hit on, saying, would you all be worried that a lot of players play the game only for the money portion and not really wanting to constantly come back to play games to enjoy? So I think this is sort of a two-way street.
It's a mindset, really.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of what do we put out there, right? And then on the other side, it's what happens when user-generated content opens up, right? Because an experience like this one could possibly be in a season of gameplay, right? And you're going to get probably some negative feedback from people who have, you know, epileptic disorders. Not serious, but who are acute.
Just generally motion sickness, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Because this particular record, you could solve this problem by making the record all black with the lines in it. Like, instead of having the white stripes, the shine to it, get rid of that shine, and you wouldn't have this issue. That's something that a QA person would come back and say, you need to change that asset. It needs to look like this. And it could be good for a season. This is a little bit more raw fun, I would say. That's a very good thing for this project. Than some of what, quite frankly, even the Sandbox has put out. But only because it's just different. So when you're coming in and a lot of players are playing just for the money portion, I think that comes mostly from it being highly narrative driven, usually melee combat attack, usually text-based and or puzzle-based interactions that are triggering in some of the same ways, platforming the whole way. Exactly. So you're going to have a bunch of gamers who come in and they would prefer to play Call of Duty, right? They would prefer to play what Conrad referred to the other day as a bullet hell game. Or what's that actual genre called?
Bullet hell.
Okay, but like the bigger, wider genre of that. Roguelike?
Oh, like roguelikes or rogues. Roguelite
Yes.
and roguelikes. Yeah.
Yeah, so if that's their preference, then that's what you're going to see when you see more user-generated content, is you're going to see people going outside of the box of sort of pre-canned, predefined stuff that's been developed because they have been pushing the boundaries of what the tech can do, while developers who are in the Game Maker Fund generally, or who are in the Sandbox game, are doing things that they know are functional. and that show best a high quality product. It will be less hitchy, less glitchy, clearly refined when they're published into the alpha season, and easy to fix if somebody finds something broken, right? And that lends it all that to say it lends back to the fact that we develop and tell people, how to fix action RPG games. So anyway,
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, problem solves itself. Yeah. People aren't going to play for the money when the games have variety.
Right. And the, how the gaining of money is going to be through playing the games is being a part of the community. So the folks that are going into it thinking that it's just a simple crypto game where they can hit the button long enough and it will pay out, they're going to be disappointed, because there is it's a different way of life in here in the Sandbox community. It is something that is put through as an artist and as game makers, and that's the whole thing behind us creating the engine that is the Sandbox game.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm going to go back to a story. There's a guy who's relatively new to the Sandbox game. He works for the Sandbox game. His name is Evan. Okay, so Evan reaches out to
Evan.
me. Super nice dude, by the way. He reaches out to me. I didn't know at the time, 3 weeks into working for the Sandbox. And he tells me this cool story about the very first time he logged into the Sandbox game. He logged in, Alpha Season 3 had just started, and he goes into the main hub. And the first thing that the main hub says to him, if you just open the game client, it was taking you to the main Alpha hub. And it played, the first quest is go grab all these plungers from the Rabbids characters, right? So he runs around, he grabs the plungers. On the way, he sees Negan from The Walking Dead, talks to Negan from The Walking Dead. Negan teleports him to the Walking Dead experience, plays through the Walking Dead experience to its completion, and then has no idea where to go and logged out. This is before he worked for the Sandbox at the time. He was just testing it because he just applied. So this is somebody who applied based on their skill set and not their knowledge of the Sandbox. I didn't learn about it first. And they said that thing in the industry is called FTUE, or First Time User Experience. And Evan said that based on that, they didn't enjoy what they played. It was okay, right? And then they came back actually after getting the job to work for the Sandbox game. And they played an experience that we had later unlocked called the Dungeon of Dummies. DUM-YZ. Dungeon of Dummies experience.
Classic now.
Great experience. They played through it. They had a lot of fun. They learned about what the Sandbox game is, what it can be when you play it in small bites, and it was easy to understand. And they looked me dead in my soul through the camera and said, why wasn't that the first thing I played? And all I could do was say, as somebody who had been in this space for a while, already knew what I was doing, I have no idea. It's a good point. Should have been the first thing we released. Should have been the first thing that you spawn on every time. That should be the Alpha Hub, not the Alpha Hub. That should at the end tell you, use the dashboard on the website at sandbox.game to go see more content. It should have been, but it wasn't, right? And this is what we learn as we continue to build through the alpha. And this is what will make the Sandbox game better in the future. And I think this is what will solve some of the previous question, where, people aren't
trying to play it,
trying
to play for fun instead of money, right?
Yeah, because
I'm going to go ahead, Joe.
Oh yeah, go for it.
And we're going to quick fire some of these questions and then get back to the game, because we've been while we're chatting here, we're kind of overlooking some here. So Mike over on YouTube asks, "Why'd you shave your beard, Rad?" Well, at the first of the year, I shaved my beard, and then several days later, I shaved all of my hair. For the first-time chatters here today, my beard was like here last year, and so we're going to show all of you beautiful people what it looks like on my face to grow it in real time. So I'm not going to shave for the rest of the year. It'll be funny. Just something fun for me to do. And then, are we talking this year for the marketplace opening? Ask Hand 110. Quick fire, Joe.
Maybe. Likely. But it depends on the way that gems and catalysts work and if those get modified or not. Because
things
right now
have to fall into place.
Yeah, they're pretty unbalanced currently. So if we can find new balance functionality, we might adjust the way gems and catalysts work, or potentially eliminate them entirely. We'll see what happens.
Right. And then Ice Pilot X7 says, when the marketplace opens up to everybody, will we be able to upload instantly, or will the sandbox still be screening them before publishing?
I would say that initially the sandbox will probably screen them, quite frankly. I'm going to guess that there's going to be 50 people assigned to that task. But that said, I don't think that would last very long. And so there was something initially in the white paper, which is the, here's our idea paper that came out. And back then, even, it said that asset moderation will be managed by the people in the sandbox game by way of, you see something that you know is copyright protected, Sonic the Hedgehog, right, gets published in there. You put up one sand and say, that thing is illegal. Because you want to make sure that the sandbox game stays up and healthy and doesn't get sued by Sega. So you report it, and then the community agrees with you. You get your sand back, that thing gets taken down, and the initial sand fee that it costs for them to publish that item gets distributed to you. That was the original plan.
Right.
That said, there has to be some checks and balances to that plan and refinements and perfections to make sure that you just don't go reporting everything and automatically have 50 people go, yeah, because we all want to make fractional sand or something crazy like that. So there are that,
right. It's kind of, you can already think of pretty easy ways to game that system.
Right. And if you go that way and then people report it and then a curator has to approve your report on top of a number of reports, then yes, it will require some more time from the sandbox, but also much less time than the first way. So there are ways.
Right. And the next is going to be back to Cool King Lemon here, but great to have your questions in the chat. We always like talking about these. Sometimes we get carried away and we don't get to actually play the games nearly as much, but promise we're going to get right back to it. Is the size of your game limited to the size of the land?
Yes. Sort of.
Sort of. If you can make anything in the Game Maker, of course.
Yeah. And so there was a really cool function that if you're watching, about a week ago, Game Dizzy, if you're not familiar with them, look them up. They published a video. They were doing it live.
Shout out to Sandstorm.
Yep. Part of the Sandstorm community. Sandstorm is a great place where you can also leverage monetization for projects that are being built in the sandbox. They'll put out contracts that you have to apply to get accepted to build. And if you do, then they pay out that contract to you directly per project. Anyway, Game Dizzy created this thing where when you walk into a room, it spawns the next one. When you walk out of the room, it spawns the previous one. So you could better maximize the use of the space that you were in. Even if it is a 1x1, you could have essentially limitless space.
Or as Chris the Mage here asks, building a new instance. It's literally just that.
Yeah, something like that. Now, another opportunity you have is you've got 64 meter wide by 64 meter by 128 meter box to build in. 128 vertical meters means that you can build layers of combat or layers of experiences. And then when you get to the end and you achieve a thing, there is a teleport trick that was developed many years ago for the first time by Cyber Dragon. First recorded time it had ever been done in a game. And it's just a trigger. Either when you walk up to it or you push a button on it, it kills you with your kill timer set to -2 seconds. So you don't see your character die. You just appear in the new location, right? So if that's something that you're interested in, you can build the very bottom layer, something that you do, you go your adventure, and then you get to the end, kill your character, respawn in the second layer, you go into the next room. What's up, Cyber Dragon? In the chat right now on youtube.com if you want to follow them. That's funny.
Oh, shout out to Cyber Dragon.
In real time.
They have a lot of wonderful tutorials as well over on YouTube.
Absolutely.
But our next question is going to be from, let me find it here again. Nope. Trying to go quick fire. Oh, yes. Any news on Season 4?
Soon
yes.
TM.
And our favorite thing to say is soon TM. You'll hear that a lot here. It's a bit of a meme. We trademarked it.
Here we go.
And then,
so, there, spoiler alert, there's a season before Season 4.
Oh?
That is all I can say.
Joe with the beans?
No, I said that like 2 months ago.
I know, but like I've completely put that out of my mind. Like, okay, all right. Thanks for the reminder. And then CorrectSmage wants to know if there's a way to submit a build for us to play on stream, as Hodel already answered over there in the Twitch chat. Just let us know here in the channel, or if you have us on the Twitter. Gotta say the Twitter. And you can find me at RedConDad or Joseph at the Vision X EX. You can message us directly and we'll try and get to it, or find us on Discord, wherever. Just let us know.
Yeah, and the if you put it here in the chat, I noticed you mentioned earlier you don't know what page it's on, and that's probably because you haven't actually published it yet to the gallery. So when you're done, it doesn't have to be 100% complete. Just like you need help, you want us to play it, right?
Right.
Just publish it to the gallery, and then we'll go back in on whatever page you say. We'll find your game. We'll play it live here on the show. And,
yeah, we want to see the games like in the process, not necessarily where you think it's finished, but we want to see the games where you're like, okay, cool, I'm at a comfortable place where it's good for quality assurance testing, and then we can go like, hey, here's an idea. Why don't you switch this up a little bit? So we're going to help you in your process, level up your game experience. And CorrectSmage also asks, is it possible to have a first person, or is it only third person view?
Yeah, you can absolutely do first person. Inside the Game Maker gallery, you can find an experience called Clear, which I think is one of the best first person experiences. But it sort of tricks the way that the camera works in a way like an old school shooter would. In that, they created a custom character and a custom weapon in the asset creation software VoxEdit. So the weapon looks like a gun, but when you fire it, it actually operates like a really super long melee weapon. In that, it still does the swing, so you may fire and hear shing, 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 but the weapon touches the character at the end of the weapon, so it does get contact with the player as the bullet leaves the front of the gun, but just ends up being an extension of that. And after the bullet contacts the character at the end, it actually teleports very quickly back within one frame back into the gun. It's a little bit hacky, but that's sort of what it's all about when you're going with no code. We'll be continuing to produce on our end from the Sandbox game ranged attacks. The next iteration includes swimming and stealth mechanics, not the ranged attacks, but it has proximity-based audio triggers. It has the video, the custom lighting, all sorts of different stuff, volumetric lighting, which is pretty huge. It really changes everything about the way every game looks, and it looks really nice. But it's one of those things where you're going to see big changes. As G Vintage is mentioning over on twitch.tv, saying, do you think there'll be player versus player combat with equipped assets soon? There are some multiplayer elements coming into version 0.8, which you may have seen in the trailer. And those will slowly evolve into direct interaction player versus player. But that system creating, not only just creating player versus player functionality, but creating it with efficiency, with, hit scan usually, that you'll see. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically the idea that when I shoot you with my character's weapon, that's the time that matters. Or there is a responsive interaction where, do I need to slightly lead you if you are running? Right? And then there's a calculation happening and a little reflex there because somebody might be from Australia while I'm from the USA, and we have a 150, 200 millisecond ping difference, right? So, it's, as Creximage is saying, the bullet hits them instantly versus bullet travel, but you'll see a really good implementation of that sort of math already working itself out in Rocket League, where sometimes it'll seem like, when two cars collide with the ball at the same time, and this would be the case if you guys were playing soccer inside the Sandbox game, which is a very popular experience for people to build. When the two objects come together, the ball kind of just squishes and goes wherever it wants. But there is some physics happening there. There's some math happening on the back end. And you want that sort of interaction to be possible while also not being ridiculously taxing on your internet. And that's the balance that we have to find as we're continuing to drive, not just for making good games, but also making good games that work on mobile. At the end of the day, we want to enable mobile because the Sandbox game had 40 million downloads on iOS, Android, when we were the Sandbox Evolution before this iteration came about. So lots of cool stuff.
Right. Okay. And then over here, JKing over on YouTube says, will there be some sort of verification checkmark or badge on an asset that has been approved by copyrighted owners to use their work?
At the moment, that's not a need demand, but that is
a good idea.
It's a good idea. It would need some, again, curated verification for that, meaning you're going to need an administrator or a moderator otherwise in the Sandbox game to see that contract, basically, in order to prove it. So
which
that you
could
don't
happen.
have to worry about it. Because you'll probably get a ton of people who submit it as, like, again, with the thing that I mentioned before, if we get community moderation where they put up a sand and they get the sand back, you're going to get a bunch of people who try to submit that. So there would have to be a subsystem back there. And we're not really that far yet. But when we get there, it's going to be huge. So keep it in mind. And I think that's something to bring up after we get UGC open. Because I don't think it's going to be as big a deal initially, but certainly a thing 6 months after UGC launches.
Okay, and then Bjorn, says in reference to Evan, now we know why the Sandbox never hires the chat. Bjorn, I want you to know that if you apply, there's a chance you get hired. And if we don't know the position that Evan had, so we don't want to disclose anything or anything like that. But regardless, there's all sorts of positions that are not game-oriented that have to be a part of a company.
Yep.
I don't expect my lawyer to be a gamer. Not necessarily. I don't expect anybody to be a gamer, but I expect everybody to be a gamer at the same time. Because everybody comes in all different shapes and sizes, and we're all unique in a little bit of way, but we're all the same too. So don't think about it too hard. It makes sense. And how about mocap in the Sandbox in VoxEdit?
I don't think motion capture is going to be enabled. Just based on what I know about the current development, like, trajectory. But that could be a thing in a year, maybe a year and a half, depending on the timeline that we have. But that's something to get community support behind as a request. I don't think, quite frankly, that there's a lot of people that exist out there, and there could be more, that have 6 cameras to make that happen. And VoxEdit currently doesn't have nodes set up with that many points where it would make a difference, but it still would be something cool to explore to have it on the highest end. So worth keeping in mind and keep bringing it up.
Right, right. And before we get onto the game, so what about staves instead of swords? There's going to be all sorts of animations and setups for weapons in the future. It's only going to keep growing. And then Cool King Lemon says, will there be an option to script in Game Maker if you want to, or will it always be no scripting? I have heard a couple different times that there is plans to add scripting in the future, but it is a little ways off.
Yes.
And then will VoxEdit have a sequencer for cinematic animations?
Not that I can confirm at this time.
Okay.
We're playing with it. Will it happen? Not sure.
All right. All right, Joe.
All right.
Let's get on to it.
Let's go.
Let's see if you can beat this one.
Now, last time I tried. This. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. We're still super fast. Fast as heck, boy.
Okay, we got to get back to the vibes here. I just noticed that you're holding a violin. You're like Jiminy Cricket's kid. Oh, he's concentrated, chat.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get these notes without getting the other notes that are bad.
It looks like
notes.
you're just jumping in the same spot to me, Joe.
If I just jump in the same spot, it'll hit me. All right. Ah.
Look,
Okay.
you're failing
So the
with
other
style,
note
all
was
right?
Like, to be honest, I think I'd rather jump in the. I don't like the notes.
What was that noise?
That was me not liking the notes, Conrad.
Okay, yeah, making your own, music here.
Ah! Ah! No! No!
Okay.
Got that one.
All right, I believe in you.
Easy. No! That's it. I'm just gonna make this one hit me. Come
Yeah,
on,
we're
bro.
just doing a break right here.
Come on, bro. Get over here. Come on, bro.
Ninja Nick, if you're having troubles launching the new game client, I suggest clearing your caches and then completely uninstalling every version that you have of that game, game client, and then download the new one or install the new one. So there's a number of different ways that there could be fixed as well. There might be something going on. If you're still having troubles with it, head on over to the Discord, make that support ticket. Somebody can help you walk through it as well. Or message me. I'll try and help you out. Yeah, it could be a number of different things, Ninja Nick. If it is computer specs, there is, I can send you the link. I'll put the link inside the chat of what the computer specs, what the minimum requirements are. See if your computer does match up to it. Though, if it is your ISP, I kind of doubt that, but might be because you have a previous one installed.
Hey, the
good job,
winter's
Joe.
arrived. Shall we listen to music made with the notes you collected? The music is approaching its completion. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Jingling all the way. They've done a really good job.
Once you finish making this music.
They've
Finish.
done a really good job with a really small area. Like, this is not how big a 1x1 is. Like, a 1x1 is actually, like, fairly large, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like, larger than this, for sure. And this entire game takes place in basically one room. It's like, those movies that the entire set piece is just one room. And it's still captivating, albeit
Whoa.
12 Angry Men,
What is this? Wait.
Oh, we got some wasps.
No. I don't like you, bees. Get on out of here with your bees stuff. Am I supposed to just get the only note that's out here?
If this place looks like it
What?
could be better if there are more bees.
Oh, to be or not to be? Ah!
It's me, Dr. Me.
Why are the bees the way that they are? I jumped off the note. No, get back here. Music.
Shout out to Harry Partridge there. If anybody knows who that artist is. Great animator.
Alright. Alright, bees. Alright, bees. I'm gonna just chill here. I can get that one. There it is. There it is. Oh! Oh! Okay. Alright, easy. Easy. Okay. No! No! Stop it. Stop it, music. Gets a no. Why?
Okay, okay.
Where's the other note? Oh, there it is. Okay. I see you. I see.
You got
I see
this?
I see you. I'm not getting the other ones. That's what I'm not doing. Okay. 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 Easy. Easy. Where's that note at? Where you at? Where you at? Note? Come over here. Get up. Get up. Oh, no. Oh, over here. Okay. Oh, there. Oh, gosh. The bees got me. Bees got me. Easy. Easy. Easy, GG, BB. No. No. I can get this. I can get this with my eyes closed. It's the easiest game in my life.
Come on.
No.
Now.
Away, bees. Just stop it. This game's all about just always hopping, never stopping. Come on. Come on, notes.
Oh, we
Come
can't
on,
see your
notes.
life. What is your life at?
10 HP in a dream. Baby.
10 HP in a dream.
5 HP and I'm dead.
Oh,
And I died. And I died. And you know
were
what
on the
happens
last
when you
quest.
die? You know what happens when you die?
The
game talks.
Even if I could, I wouldn't let
Can't believe. Can't believe.
I'm addicted to the pain. Why is every day so uneventful? I just get more of the same.
Not bad. I'd say overall. Overall, I think
Towards the bottom of the Game Maker are the minimum specs. If you click on that, that's also where you download the Game Maker as well.
yes. All right. So it's not bad, I think. Overall, could it be
It's entertaining.
a little more forgiving? Maybe. But if somebody plays it 2 or 3,
I want to see healing notes. I want to see ways to mitigate failure, right?
right,
Instead
because,
of just failure.
exactly. I want to. There should be more things that can hurt me, and more things that can help me, so
Yeah.
that it's crazier, but also more manageable. I don't want to see a game over. To be fair. Now,
Yeah, I like this screen.
Mhm.
I think it's really funny. But you don't have to throw in an official game over in order to make this happen.
right, yeah, all of this could exist. You could have, on a trigger, another bee comes, or an ant or whatever comes over and kicks you in your side and says, "Get up, loser." On a timer, and your character's like, and it, "Get up."
Right.
And this song's playing in the background, and then like a third, "Get up," and he's like, "Fine. What do you want?" And he's like, "I thought you said you could make music. Get on it," And then you're back in it, and you're doing it again at the checkpoint that you already created. You made that space there. You allowed people to spawn there with that current note, so there's no reason you couldn't keep that going. Allow people to complete
Real quick,
it.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for stopping by, Crux the Mage. And if anybody who's still here with us, our normal time for streaming is at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or what is that in GMT?
Or
UTC, rather?
1 p.m. UTC? 1 p.m. UTC?
1 p.m. UTC? That's our normal time that we stream, though
Oh,
today's
that's
a really
not
late
late.
one. Yeah, you'll figure it out in just a second.
5
But
p.m.
5 p.m. UTC, there you go.
For some reason.
And then Ninja Nick wants to know about the Creator Fund or how they can update or upload things to the marketplace.
Okay, so the Creator Fund, you can go to fund.sandbox.game, or maybe gamefund.sandbox.game. Can't remember which one's still up, if not both. They have different functions, but the same application. is there. Yeah, and you could, if you get approved for the Game Makers Fund / Creator Fund for the artists, then, and I'm not sure. I think that's slightly changing in the near future, so yeah, don't quote me on that. But the Creator Fund is there so that those creators can make curated content. But I think we're getting close enough to general consumers being able to upload assets in the marketplace. Not totally sure, but when we get there, we'll get there. I've heard some rumblings. We'll see what happens. Always worth applying, just in case the process takes, goes out longer. But
the Creator Fund is not closed.
Right, that's correct.
It is just a it's just a more applied or applicant process now, to where like it's being properly reviewed.
Yeah, it's important to know that, like, so the way that the Creator Fund works is that you always applied, you always sort of interviewed, you were paid for your time if you got accepted to do the interview. And then if you get that, then you are asked to create curated content. And along the way, some of that curated
Game Maker
content
Fund.
may be... some of that curated content may be translated into something that gets published as a series on the marketplace, the Sandbox.game, where you are promoted in that publishing, right? But yeah, there's no official statement to say that the Creator Fund is closed. There's no official statement to say that the Game Makers Fund was ever closed, right? Those things always will continue to be in a revolving cycle. They may adapt, they may change slightly, but they're not closing, and they're constantly funded by all of the transactions that we do as people in the Sandbox game ecosystem in general. Every time a land gets sold, every time a land gets resold on OpenSea, every time an asset gets sold, a portion of that goes back to the Sandbox game, which then helps do funds for various projects, including Creators Fund stuff, no matter what iteration, adaptation that might have. Game Makers Fund stuff that's used for the VoxEdit contests, that's used for the Game Jam contests, all that sort of stuff. So yes, still exists, still worth applying. And when it is closed, there would be, if it were to be closed, there would be some kind of official announcement. But as I said, more likely an announcement that says this is changing, not closing,
right,
to whatever new iteration it may be.
Give it a shot, Ninja Nick. There's lots of communities that can help you out as well. Check out all the Discords and get involved. It will be very useful. And also watch people on Twitch. Just surf the Sandbox channel. Yeah, you can hang out with folks like OG Shakespeare over there. That's probably the most active streaming space. We here on the Sandbox Live, we stream out to every platform: DLive, Theta, YouTube, and Twitch, Twitter, all the works. Adam is real. He's not a mod bot. But otherwise, no Espanol for either myself or Joe, though Joe does know some. But please, if you can, you don't have to try with us to speak English or type in English. You can use your native language. We do have some pretty good translation software that works on the fly, and we'll do our best to chat with you as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna figure out that sentence, right? Like, I need to figure out that sentence because I know it for like over the phone, but I need to figure out that sentence to say it in Spanish for like, how do you type in just type it in the chat and we'll translate it,
Right. We do have some Spanish speakers in the chat often.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have some great Spanish-speaking members of the community, Not Animated being the first one that comes to mind. They're always creating something in the Game Maker, or creating something in VoxEdit, usually streaming when they make it. They've made some really great arts based on already really great arts that they make. Roxy. Yeah, absolutely. Roxy.
Yep. Mosquito.
Always in the chat. They tend to talk with us in English, but you're gonna see a lot of great community members from all over the world here in the chat.
It's worldwide.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Touche says hello. If there's a question in Spanish, let me know so I can translate it. Right there.
That's almost right. But I'll probably modify that. A little bit. But I appreciate you putting it in there because that's pretty close to what I would want to say. I'm gonna put it down in a very particular way.
Also, Touche, when you coming down?
Yeah, again.
Come on.
Again. He was like, man, I was just down there. That's probably what he's thinking to himself. Down there. But that was like summer now.
Right.
You're crazy.
Right. Also,
right.
Rykopath, I need to message you back. I have read it, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually go through my personal emails.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Did you close the form?
I did. I was going to wait for it.
Well,
after we started up this next game.
If you don't mind, I'd like to read off the winner now and start to wrap. We're getting pretty close to the time, and I bit my tongue like 45 minutes ago on the right side.
Oh, no.
And I've just been struggling through it. I don't know if you've noticed my slurring.
A little bit.
It's been ridiculous. But nonetheless.
All right. So our winner of the Wizzy-themed NFT over on Twitch.com is Meta VVMVV. Congratulations. And they answered to the question, can I kick it? They said LFG. So thank you to all of you out there who properly responded with yes, you can.
Oh my gosh.
But congratulations, Meta VVMVV.
Conrad, I almost
That's my name.
it. I almost said, I can't believe you called it twitch.com. But then I typed twitch.com, and it took me over to twitch.tv. They did it. They bought it.
Did they buy it? Oh, I said I was so used to saying youtube.com.
Yep.
And yeah,
no,
I had it.
This guy, he's like,
hilarious.
hey, on my microphone is a twitch.tv logo, all right?
It's literally right there.
Who are you?
Right.
Who are you?
You know, Touche, I'll go to you first. All right.
Backspace.
We'll make a trip.
I was asked an important question before we go.
Are we looking at increasing the minimum specs by the version 1.0?
No, the opposite. Because it needs to work on your phone. And if you don't already know, the minimum specs right now, I have this open in a web browser tab somewhere on this computer, and I'm going to pull it. We'll pull it right now. It's not on this. Oh, yeah, there it is. Minimum specs are a Ryzen 7 3700X or Core i7 6700K. That is the replacement options for minimum specs. You must have a graphics card that's at least a GTX 1050 Ti or GTX 960 graphics card or equivalent AMD series. How does that translate to a mobile phone? Because that's our target. That's our goal.
Right.
Currently, the Samsung thing that I got, this chunk boy right here, that unfolds. This thing has about half the speed that the Core i7
can't imagine it working on the iPhone at all. Like,
yep. So it's got an 8-core processor, great. The main 2 processors, that's what they're always going to tell you. This is how fast it goes. It's so fast. Look at the gigahertz. And then all the alternative processors are like 800 megahertz, and you're like, what? Super slow. So that's what we have to optimize for. Jay King says doesn't work on a i7 3rd gen processor.
Yeah.
No, that's 3 years earlier than the oldest version that it would be compatible with, which means generally about 30% slower per year, which has its exponential slowness, as you know, compounding interest sort of goes. If you go up 30%, then you go up 30% of 30%, you're actually going up 40%, etc.
Right.
So you're probably about 80% slower than you need to be for a third-gen processor to run minimum specs. And that's based on all of these being sort of no-code logics. And so the implementation of certain code might make certain games work better long-term. But we're going to continue, again, to optimize the engine as we continue to develop. And that's a big part of what 2023 has been all about so far. In all of our internal discussions, it's been, we like what we're doing. We're going to put out some new features, then we're going to optimize the heck out of it because we want it to work on this.
Right. And so basically we're trying to make it as simple as possible, but still have full optimization. And if you want more communities to chat with Ninja and Nick, I suggest all of the many Discords, or once again, exploring the Twitch page for Sandbox. There are folks on all the time and lots of Discords. I even have a personal Discord as well. And send me a message over there. Find me at RadCondad. And then Touche says, Joe, Conrad, what do we got to do to get a Sandbox meetup in Seattle? Or dare I say Sandbox Convention Center here are pretty awesome.
First, Seattle Convention Center is pretty awesome.
It is.
It's my favorite. I've been to quite a few. That one, I just like the Sky Bridge personally.
It's so cool.
Big fan of the fact that across the street, kitty-cornered, is a place called GameWorks, where after your day at the convention center, of course, you got to take a break from your video games by going to play more video games while you get some food and drink and have a great time. It's
Hold on, I'm not.
literally amazing. It's amazing. What do we got to do? Real question, real answer. There is a gentleman that you know, Touche, in the Slack channel that you're in, Laurent. Ask him. Hit him up.
That was the question.
Let's go. Let's go to Top Pot. Let's rent out the Top Pot and have a meetup. All right? Get some donuts, get some coffee, hang out together. Otherwise,
For real.
I don't think a Sandbox convention is going to happen in Seattle before it happens in Paris. I don't think a Sandbox convention is happening in Seattle before it happens in Argentina. All right? But if it does, you're a king. All right? Anyway,
I got this. We got
Conrad,
this.
You ready?
All right. Close it out, Joe. Oh, this is a new one.
Dance it out.
This is a new one. I don't know what to do with this one. This one's a little funky. Chat. We're talking about doing some late night streams and then some morning streams during the week. What do you guys think of that? Doing like 2 morning
Why not
streams?
do both?
3?
I haven't seen Cyber Dragon in months. All right, chat.
We gotta do both.
Bye-bye.